welcome to the DFS Build NBA edition. Got a nice 8-game main slate over at DraftKings. Hopefully we can help you win. I've certainly been doing that lately in NBA and NFL. Let's keep it rolling. If you do want premium core plays for NBA and anything else that we do, head over to dfsbuild.com. $5.99 for the entire month for everything. That is a good foundation to get you headed in the right direction, so definitely take advantage of that. And of course, if you just want some free stuff, keep watching this video or head over to our Discord, which is linked in our description. If you want to help us out a little bit, you can also hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. The way we do this, we go game by game, actually team by team even, and just highlight the plays that we are liking and just kind of look at the situations, the matchups, the game totals, and everything that goes into it, and hopefully nudge you in the right direction and get you on plays that maybe you weren't already on. All right, so Taylor, it is a nice big slate, so let's dive into it. We got Miami Heat in the Madison Square Garden. 6-point road dogs, even though Brunson's not there, suspect. There is a lot to like in this game. The Knicks are not usually a team we want to target that much, but we certainly like plays on their side. So how are you feeling about Miami as some potential runbacks here?
Yeah, it's kind of always the same. Like, there's such a good matchup. The Heat are first in the league in pace. Defense is still good, but the pace is kind of winning out. That they're pretty good in game stacks, and we are going to be getting to some Knicks, I imagine. So they do look decent. Like Andrew Wiggins and Norm Powell are the usage guys. I think they're fine. I think Jaquez is like a tougher sell off the bench. Like, he's got a pretty narrow path. He's still getting minutes, but $7K, 7,400 for a guy who might play 29 minutes is pretty rough, I think. Khalil Ware continues to be a really good low-owned center play. He's been thriving with Bam out, but center's pretty stacked on this slate. There's a lot of value at center. We have some expensive ones that look decent. So he's a second. I think the whole team is just like secondary guys. Like Davion's fine, but not much of a ceiling typically at point guard. So not the best spot.
Yeah, agreed with everything. Don't really have anything to add. I think if you fall on a Heat guy coming back from Knicks, it's fine, but I don't see them as priorities. I don't think you have to do that ever unless it really meshes with what you're trying to accomplish. So Knicks side, though, looks amazing. Cat obviously gets a major usage bump, 53-point fantasy protection, and not expensive enough for the role he's going to have here in a really good DFS environment. So he looks amazing. I guess the only knock would be that he's going to be owned. Don't really care that much about that. He looks like the best spend up of the slate. So he looks amazing. You could definitely make a case for OG, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, just because they're going to get a little bit more run here, a little bit more usage. But Miles McBride, obviously, as long as he starts, is going to benefit the most from no Brunson. And he's rather cheap at 4.8. Although we both agree on a even cheaper guy on the Knicks that we could look at. But how are you feeling about New York here?
Yeah, I mean, obviously against Miami, it's such a good spot. And without Brunson, you're losing your usage leader, your starting point guard. So McBride, assuming he starts, is going to be a really good play. I love that you can play him at shooting guard. That's pretty important on this slate.
Agreed.
So it doesn't look like he's going to be super owned. Like, he's owned, but not like to an extreme degree.
Right.
So if that holds, which I don't know if it will, but either way, he's an awesome play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Towns is the top way to spend money just because we do have like actual mega stars on the slate, but he is great. Like, usage is there. He's cheaper than Giannis and Luka and stuff. Wemby on FanDuel, but I don't love that he's only power forward. I feel like that's kind of irritating, but whatever. We do have other centers to consider on the slate anyway, so it's not the worst thing. I think he's a really good play. Not sure if he's a core play for me, but no issue with it if you think he is. I think Hart and Anunoby are pretty good mid-range plays. Anunoby gets a big usage boost without Brunson. And I think Clarkson's okay. The issue is he hasn't played more than like 21 minutes in a game. In the last game, he played 10 minutes. So I don't really think they want to give him playing time, which makes him a pretty thin play, especially since there are a lot of other cheap cards that I think are pretty good.
Yeah, I think just because obviously no Brunson and the fact that I was saying, before we got going here that this is not the Tibbs show anymore necessarily. Like, Miles McBride could start and only get like 25 minutes or something. We don't know for sure what they're going to do. They might just split it with him and Clarkson. But either way, it's a great spot for scorers like Clarkson. So I think that is an interesting leverage play in tournaments. Not a safe play at all, like you definitely alluded to. And I certainly prefer McBride right now. I love his current ownership. If it stays there, that'd be amazing. And if it were there, like only like 20%, I don't see leverage with Clarkson for just $600 cheaper as a necessity. I don't think you need to do that. Like I was saying, like, so if we're going to go get like cheap plays, let's make sure they actually make sense and help us do what we're trying to do. Don't need to stretch ourselves too thin with bad plays just to save money. There's going to be plenty of value here. But the other thing with Cat is I just think dollar for dollar, like up top, like, is he a better play straight up than, Cade, Giannis, Luka? No, I just think he's really cheap and offers potentially a comparable result on the slate. So he looks awesome to me. Not a core play though, because he's like 9.4K. It's tough to like say you have to play Cat in every lineup or anything. All right, next game. Also a spot where we're going to look at some value in a lot of second tier plays that look really good. Not from the Nets necessarily. MPJ leads the way for them at 7.8K, but they are big 13-point dogs, even without Paolo Banchero on the other side. I guess you could consider like a run back from the Nets, like Noah Clowney at 4.8 or something, even MPJ. But my interest in this game lies on the Orlando side.
Yeah, Brooklyn's a pretty tough sell. They're huge underdogs. They're bad. They don't have Cam Thomas. I guess the good thing is Orlando can't score either. So there's a chance they could stay in the game just because the Magic are like one of the worst offensive teams in the league. But Brooklyn's deep. They're not very good. There's one guy I want to consider, and it's Yegor Dioman at 4,400, starting at point guard. He's been pretty good. His minutes have been on the rise. He got off to a really bad start, but he was a good per minute guy in college. He's showing something at least a little bit lately. So, and I think he was a top 10 pick. So I feel like they would kind of prioritize his development. I'm okay with him as a value, like as a pivot from McBride that's going to be 1% owned. I think he's capable of outscoring McBride. It's not the most likely scenario, but he's someone I have a decent amount of interest in, and that's really it from Brooklyn.
Isaac Nuke from DFS Buddy.
Nope.
Yeah. I like Igor as like a value in a vacuum. I don't like him enough to do that personally. He is going to see Jalen Suggs, so not ideal necessarily. And Desmond Bane's there too. I don't know. It just doesn't look like the best spot for him. And also, they're not really stretching him out that much. Like, I don't think he's played 30 minutes yet in a game. So if he doesn't get there,
but his minutes have been rising.
That's true.
It's just sort of like it's just a pivot play. Like, he's not a great play, but as a pivot, I think it's totally viable.
Yeah, I mean, I suggested Noah Clowney as a decent value, so it's not like it's that crazy from there. On the other side, there's
another like cheap point guard I have a lot more interest in than McBride and Dioman, for what it's worth, that we'll get to later.
It is worth something, depending. Always depending. Okay, so the Magic look great. The Nets are the worst defense in terms of efficiency on the year. So Franz Wagner and this Orlando offense should get it going. He and Desmond Bane look awesome. Jalen Suggs looks like a really good value at 5-1. I suppose you can play Wendell Carter and Anthony Black, but I'm just going to keep it at the top three guys. My question for you, because I know you probably agree here, like obviously they project great and the matchup's amazing. The blowout risk is there. That's just a reality. But how do you feel about firing up all three of them, and what would you do like on a regular basis as far as like your exposure to them?
I would definitely not play more than two Orlando guys. They're going to be really owned, I think. Like, it's a good spot against Brooklyn. Obviously, no Banchero opens things up for them, but they still have plenty of bodies left. They could blow them out. I think Franz is okay at 8.5. That's just kind of pricey, I think. Bane at 7K, like, sure, it's fine. He's been horrific this season. Maybe without Paolo, he finds it. Hopefully he will, but like, I'm still getting there to a decent degree. I just don't really like that at all. Even at shooting guard, like, weak position, but there is other stuff to consider. I think Suggs dollar for dollar is my favorite, but he still hasn't played 30 minutes in a game. I don't know if he'll get there tonight. He should see more usage without Paolo, but not a great ceiling play, in my opinion. Wendell Carter's never a ceiling play. Goga, Tristan da Silva, not amazing. I just like Jonathan Isaac might start, but won't play more than 20 minutes, I don't think. So if the ownership's here, I will be pretty glad to go away from it.
Do not mind Drummond, by the way, DFS buddy. Yeah, I mean, I guess we a little bit disagree here just because I think there's going to be enough usage to go around and the matchup is so good that you could play 3 Magic here. I wouldn't hate it. If I was going to fade one, though, it would be Wagner due to price because there are other really good plays up above him, and that is getting a bit high. But like the usage is going to be there for him to absolutely nuke. I just think Bane and Suggs feel like better values, obviously.
I think
on the
Bane
slate.
on FanDuel is like 6'4". Like that's a really good play.
For sure.
7K, like you're still paying for it. So
little bit. I mean, the projection's pretty damn good for 7K though. I don't mind it.
Just try to do that.
All right, next game up. This one we still need news on with Cade and Duran still questionable. They missed the last game. Philly without Embiid. VJ Edgecombe is also questionable. So obviously, Joel. So Maxi's always going to be in play for a 60-plus, fantasy night. Andre Drummond looks like a really good value at 5.7. Thing is with Drummond, you just never know. Like number one, he might face Duran, which isn't ideal. Although you kind of want him to have Duran out there so he gets minutes. I don't know. I never feel great about Andre Drummond anymore. Like clear path to a double-double, but also a clear path to 15 minutes and absolutely nothing. So Maxey is great if you want him. I think if I'm going to pay in the 10K range or higher, I'm going to probably keep going and go get Cade if he's in or go get Luka or Giannis. Like I just don't love – I feel like Maxey will get you 60 and that's kind of it. Like usually you're not getting much more than that because he's kind of scoring dependent. Well, not that scoring dependent, but why don't you give your thoughts on where you're at with Maxey?
It's not ideal paying 10.5 for him. Like I always want to get some, and I think I will get a little bit in multi-entry, but 10.5 is kind of reaching the top of the threshold, I think, without Embiid and Paul George in there. I think the Edgecombe news is somewhat interesting. Like I think you can get into Kelly Oubre, Quentin Grimes if he's out, but even those guys are over 6K. So like you're not really getting a huge discount on them either.
Right.
Drummond, I think I'm interested. I think I'm more interested if Duran is in.
Right.
I guess Paul Reed is kind of comparable though. So if like Stewart and Duran are both out and it's Reed again, you can consider that. But if that's the case, Paul Reed's going to be like the value of the slate again.
He's not that cheap though, isn't he? Like 6.3.
Oh, is he? I didn't even.
Yeah, dude, his price went way up, and rightfully so.
I mean, even then, he's probably still he's a better play than Drummond if he's the starter.
Okay, but
the other
dude, if Duran is out and everybody's gonna play Paul Reed at that price, I will gladly fade that and we'll see what happens. Like obviously he'd still be a good play, but I don't know. You need him to absolutely smash again at that price. He was 3.9 the other day. That was an obvious play, and he still could have failed because he's Paul Reed.
Yeah. He's still a pretty strong play. I think if he's starting even at 6.3, like that is appropriate. It might still be underpriced for the role he would have. But like I was saying, like Drummond's okay. I just think there are other centers like Diabate who are better and cheaper and stuff. So he's okay. Detroit is just like a big wait and see. Like we don't know about Cade or Duran or Stewart. If one center plays without the other, that center is a smash. Duran is expensive, but with no Embiid, I'm not super dissuaded by the matchup. So
no,
he's good. Cade's getting really pricey, but he will have just a shitload of usage again without Tobias, without Asar Thompson, without Jaden Ivey. So even at 11K, he's obviously got the ceiling for it. I think I prefer Luka overall if I'm paying all the way up at a point guard, but nothing wrong with Cade. And then obviously guys like Dennis Jenkins, Paul Reed's 5'8" for what it's worth. So like definitely more appealing.
Jenkins is now 6'1" and he went up from like 4'1". So they would absolutely both be good plays, but they would not be must plays because of the price hike. Like
not must plays for sure.
No. Yeah, so like if they were like getting a lot of ownership, and same with Cade here, by the way, if everybody is just going to believe that he's going to hoist 40 shots every night now, and he's 11K and Luka's only $1,000 more, Luka's a way more reliable DFS performer. Like he's just consistently more likely to get you 70 or 80 fantasy points. So I'm just going to take that chance. I'm going to go play Luka or Giannis and hope that it doesn't come back to bite me. Not much else to say about the Pistons side until we have news. Like obviously, if these guys are out, Ron Hall and Javonte Green would also be in play, and their prices are still okay. So we'll see what happens. All right, Portland against Houston on the road here. They are about 8-point underdogs. You can always play Drew. You can always play Denny. Shaden Sharp has good usage. I don't like them at all in this spot. The price has come up on Denny. And for this matchup, these guys are a little bit too expensive for my liking. GPP plays, I guess, like if the game stays close, but it's not ideal.
Yeah, I think Holiday is still a pretty good play. The minutes have been solid. He's just been excellent. Denny as well, but he's 9K. I don't really want to pay 9K for him. I'd rather pay down for like Julius Randle if I'm kind of spending for a power forward, or Karl Anthony Towns for 400 more, obviously. So he kind of gets lost in the shuffle. I think the best play here is Tumani Kamara, just because small forward is kind of a nightmare zone on this slate. Maybe more value pops up. I think he's okay. The minutes are going to be stable, but across the board, it's not a good spot for the Blazers. So just kind of secondary tournament plays, and nobody really stands out.
Yeah, I mean, like I can tell you every time that a guy who's not going to be owned and doesn't project like a god is a good tourney play just for ownership purposes. But I don't see like a really good clear path for any of those guys to be smashes, or even if they do, like I don't think you have to do that. I don't think you have to take that kind of risk on a slate like this. For Houston, Şengün projects like a god. KD and Amen Thompson both look decent. KD projects better than Amen, so I guess he's probably the better play. DFS Buddy here likes Amen. I always like Amen Thompson, but the projection and price are not where I want them to be, I guess. Like they've actually been kind of hovering around 8K like for a couple of weeks now, him and KD. I think they're okay plays. Like Portland does present a pretty good spot, so if the game stays close, all three of these guys do have the potential to absolutely smash. I guess I'm just not getting there right now. Like there's a lot of other good plays on the slate.
Yeah, I think there are really good plays on this team. Şengün, not really one of them. Portland is second in pace. They've been playing these track meets. I think that suits Amen Thompson perfectly. 8,100. I don't love that he's only point guard. Like if there's any player who should have MPE, it's probably him, and he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
But really good spot for him. KD, like I mentioned with Kamara, just kind of a product of small forward being a horror zone.
Yeah.
But he is a good play. He's got a high floor. I don't know if he has a high ceiling, but for 8,200, I think that's worth a shout. And the guard I was talking about before, who I think is an awesome Miles McBride pivot, is Reed Shepherd once again. 4,200. His price came down inexplicably after the last game. Playing minutes off the bench, he closed against Milwaukee. They trust him. He's like their best. He's easily their best shooter. He's just been excellent. I think 1.12 DK points per minute. Point guard, shooting guard. Great matchup. Portland's second unit is awful, by the way. And he's going to spend a lot of time playing against them. So again, like he's low owned, he's cheap, he's good. I don't know why he's not getting ownership, but I will be very, very over the field on Reed Shepherd.
Yeah, I mean, you were right about him the other day. He's been good 3 games in a row. The minutes are there. The matchup is solid. I'm not going out of my way personally to do it right now. I'm on other value guards, but if you want to get a little bit different, he is an interesting play.
I think also Bari and Tari. 5 Bari pretty good. 4,600 Tari Easton's pretty good. I think I prefer Smith just because he seems to be the more underpriced of the two for his upside. But both are really good value plays again, I think.
Yeah, I mean, cheap exposure to the second fastest team in the league. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. All right, Charlotte and Milwaukee. LaMelo Ball is back. He has a solid projections, almost 10K here. You can always play LaMelo. It doesn't look like he's going to be owned. I don't really want to do that necessarily, but he's in play. Miles Bridges is too priced up with LaMelo back for me. Con Knipple, same deal. Sexton, same deal. Like I'm not interested in anybody except for Diabate, who should start with Noah Kalkbrenner. Diabate looks awesome. He's one of the best values of the entire slate, actually, right now.
Yeah, he's probably the best value on the slate. On DraftKings, at least, he's 4.2. I think he's like 5.3 on FanDuel. But
yeah, I don't think he's on FanDuel. He's not necessarily like he's the only center only too.
Yeah, he's still a good play just because he's a good per minute guy who will have increased minutes, but
plus blocks.
He's a much easier value on DK where you have multiple center spots. I guess it's not the greatest spot against Milwaukee, but he's so cheap, I don't really care. I think if you're a sicko in a large field, you can consider Mason Plumlee at 3K flat as the backup center behind Diabate, but pretty thin play. But he is
So
3K
good
flat.
that he doesn't even have a projection, baby.
Yeah, they're wrong. He's going to be the backup center. I don't know why they don't have him projected.
No, I know. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean there is risk with Diabate.
In the name of Tolu Smith, Mason Plumlee is viable. In the name of Oso Ighodaro,
yeah,
from last night.
I
The
wish I would have
glorious
listened.
Oso Ighodaro.
I know. I really wish I would have listened to you because Nick Richards was 41% owned and got 7. And like that was like
got like 36 or something with 2% ownership.
that would have been majestic because I had Jalen and Onyeka and Spida and Booker. Like my team was flames. The only thing wrong with my entire team was Nick fucking Richards, man. And we literally talked about it. Like, anyways, always fun to kick yourself over Craig Porter Jr. and Nick Richards, everybody. That's always fun.
Well, we give good insight on this show. There's stuff to be gained from watching our stream. There's
also something to be said about us saying something or it being put out there and then like whether it be us or somebody else just not following it at all, even though it's out there. Like I should have known better. Like that was such a good leverage point. And I'm just like, no, I'm gonna play Nick Richards like a fish. So yeah, definitely need to. You don't want to be too chalky anyways, so you got to do something different at some point. All right, so excuse me, that's pretty much it for Charlotte. I guess you could play LaMelo if you want to. I'm probably not going to. Giannis looks great. Top projection at the slate, 11.7K against the Hornets, who really don't have anybody that's going to be able to stop him. So obviously the other thing was foul trouble with Diabate. There is a clear risk for that. Ryan Rollins still looks really good. Price hasn't budged that much. 6.7 is a fair price for him. I don't think he's a must due to his price, but the matchup is good. The price is fine, and the projection's good. Don't see anybody else that I have to have, although you could do Cole Anthony off the bench at 4K flat, just because in the name of Reed Shepherd, like there's all these other guards that people are playing, so maybe he can pivot. Because like the other night, everybody liked Sam Merrill, and I think you even mentioned like I don't know about Sam Merrill. And if you would have pivoted off of Sam Merrill, like by default, you probably would have been doing better.
Yeah, Cole Anthony is another guy who could easily outscore Miles McBride for $800 less. I prefer Shepherd. I just think his role is more stable. But Anthony does look pretty good at 4K flat. Point guard, shooting guard. Again, the shooting guard thing is huge.
Yeah.
So I think he's a viable play at hopefully low ownership. I'm sure it'll be low ownership. Giannis, I don't have much to add. Like he's going to feast. No Kalkbrenner in there. Like that's their best rim protector. He's gone. Giannis is going to do whatever he wants, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Not really excited about Ryan Rollins. I feel like there's just a lot else to like at point guard on the slate. Same with Miles Turner. Hasn't really shown a ceiling.
No, he's just an okay play. Like if you land on Ryan Rollins, it's not the worst thing in the world. Where are you at as far as like if you're going to play a Cole or a Reed? Are you doing that specifically to leverage away from McBride, or would you play them together?
You can play them together. I think because they all have shooting guard, it makes it pretty easy to play them all together.
Yeah,
you're kind of in that scenario. You're like fading Diabate, and you're playing like Drummond and Duran or something like that with your center spots. But I think you can play those guys together. It's not exclusively McBride leverage because, like we said earlier, McBride is popular, but it doesn't look like he's like mega chalk.
That's true. All right. Good call. All right. Kings visiting the Wolves. I do not want anything to do with the Kings. I suppose if Monk and Sabonis sat, we would get some value, but I wouldn't even feel that good about it. They're already 11-point dogs in Minnesota. Russ is super expensive for right now. I guess Precious Achua at 4-1 might be interesting if Sabonis sits. That's probably it for the Kings for me.
Yeah, I think those two were at shoot around, so I feel like they're going to play.
Yay.
It's just an awful team in an awful spot.
They need to trade everybody like immediately.
Yeah, I don't even know who they build around. I guess they just build around Keegan Murray.
They don't like fun. DeMar DeRozan anymore. I can tell you that much. By the way, this little 10-point nugget he got me, that was in my Dynasty league lineup where you have to pick your games. So that was fun.
It's just a mess of a team, and they all eat into each other's usage, and they're all the same guy. Like
Yeah.
Schroeder, I guess, if Monk is out, but I don't really want to do that either. So
No, they're going to get their asses kicked.
they
They're
can
all
go
just
away.
isolation scorers.
They're
Why?
also in Minnesota for the Cup,
Yeah.
so they're going to be totally blinded by the neon court tonight. So no, thank you.
And won't we all? I just feel like, why would you form a team like this? You have no shooters. They all need the ball,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all doing the same thing. Like, who said this was a good idea? And by the way,
Nobody.
when you have a center who can literally be your point guard, like, why would you do this? Crazy. And then they're like at the end, like right before the season starts, they're like, hey, got to get Russ Westbrook.
We need Russ.
We,
Yeah.
we don't have enough non-shooting isolation scores. Okay. Minnesota on the other side, like Sacramento is like a fine matchup. And they're at home, 126 implied team total. That's good. Julius Randle, 8-3. He does project very well. I'm not really getting there, but I can see why you would. Good price, good projection. And then Anthony Edwards, forever too cheap. Like, I really can't wait to play Anthony Edwards for the in-game injury or the blowout risk here. If the bonus is in, Rudy is okay at 6. If you want to pivot off of Drummond, I don't hate that. Dante DiVincenzo, 5'8". That's another cheap, lower mid-range guard that is going to get minutes and is in a pretty good spot. Like, there is a lot to like here for Minnesota. I feel like there's more things that I like a little bit better. And I do actually, like, normally I don't want to play the blowout game, but on an 8-game slate, we can pick our spots. And I do very much fear a blowout in this game. So I'm probably going to just stay away.
The blowout is definitely a concern, but I think it's such an amazing spot that I'm going to be over the field on like everybody on this team. I just think it's a team full of amazing tournament plays. Like maybe Sacramento keeps it close. They have the highest total on the slate. They're at home. It's the Cup, so maybe they want to run it up even more. Although I think they destroyed Utah in the Cup last Friday.
That's for your ball.
Oh my God. I thought the house was caving in. But yeah, like they're too cheap. And Randall are both nuking every night. They're both under 9K. I don't really see any reason for that. Edwards is my favorite sub 10K spend. I prefer him to Towns if I'm paying up for someone like that.
Don't know about that, but I do like him. It looks great.
Randall at 8.3 is an underpay. Gobert at 6K is an underpay. Love Dante DiVincenzo at 5,800 that no one's going to play. Sacramento just giving it up everywhere. I'm fine with Reed. I'm fine with McDaniels. Like I'm getting a good amount of every single one of these guys, not together necessarily, but individually. I think this is a team you want to get to in tournaments.
Yeah, I don't hate it from that point because like the Kings are top 7 in pace, bottom 5 in defense. Like kind of definitely a spot that you don't mind attacking in tournaments. All right, Lakers and Pels. Luka looks like a god. Austin Reeves. I feel like, I mean, obviously if you're going to play Luka, you're not going to want to play Reeves at the same time, but Reeves does look really good in terms of projection here. Not really psyched to play any other Lakers guys, but both of them look great. You need to take a stand as far as who you're gonna get. I will say one thing: if Reeves is going to be mega chalk because of that price and projection, I think that's even more reason to get away from him and go up and get Luka and hope that we get just like a regular Reeves game and just like a nuke job from Doncic.
Yeah, I mean, Luka's more expensive than Giannis. I think that'll skew the ownership pretty heavily toward Giannis, and I think Giannis is in a slightly better spot, but it is still a really good spot for Luka.
Big time. He's
been kind of so-so the past few games, but they have had tough spots like against Oklahoma City. So this is a much better spot for him. I think I'm really into that at 12K. Reeves is fine. More of a secondary play. I don't love the ownership. I don't really think it'll be there. But if it is, then it's pretty easy to go away from that.
I don't know. I'm sorry. Okay. All right, on the Pels side, Trey Murphy. Trey Murphy's okay. Decent projection, decent role, obviously with no Zion there. Never feel psyched to play Trey Murphy because he always fails. And the Pels are 9.5-point dogs at home. Not sure if we lost Taylor or not. I think he muted himself. He's got something going on over there. Sadiq Bey actually looks like a pretty good value at 4.8K. That is scary to say, but it is true. Jeremiah Fears, same deal. Derek Queen, also the same deal. Those guys are right under 5K and look plenty viable in a not that scary spot. Like Lakers are pretty mid defensively. Not really looking to do any of these other punts. So Herbert Jones is okay, just like a very, very pedestrian play. Like he's not going to offer you much of a ceiling. So there's nothing to get that excited there. I don't think Taylor is going to disagree with much here. Like Bay looks like a good value. Fears if you want to do that. Like his minutes are kind of wonky. Like 26, like he's been okay lately, but he just seems like a guy like that is not somebody that they won't bench if things aren't going well. I do like Queen. I don't love his projection, but I think Queen, it offers enough value that we can certainly give him a look too. All right, last game of the night, the Clippers are in Dallas, 3-point spread. Clippers are favored with no Kawhi. James Harden's going to look really good here, almost a 50-point fantasy projection. He is a little bit expensive, obviously pushing 10K, so you're going to be sacrificing a cat who's $200 cheaper or going away from some of these other studs up top. But Harden in a vacuum looks really good. Zubac looks like a really good dollar-for-dollar play at center. Like him a little bit better on FanDuel, but he's cheap and with a good projection on both. And if Anthony Davis is, again, not going to play, who's going to stop him? I don't know. As far as value here, like without Kawhi, we can look at other value, but nothing here feels that good.
Yeah, I like Kawhi and Zubats a normal amount. Like they're not great values, but I do think they both have upside in the spot.
You mean Harden?
What did I say?
Kawhi.
Yeah, Harden and Zubats I think are good. I think John Collins is okay in a starting role at 5,400.
Yeah, just a little risky.
Not a fun play, but there is a lot of other stuff in that range. It's going to be more owned. I wanted to go back to the Pelicans real quick because I missed it, but I think Derek Queen is like just a utter smash again. Like 37 minutes in the last game off the bench. They've phased Yves Missi out of the rotation essentially. He's still under 5K. I see no reason for that. Like you said, the Lakers are not a tough spot, so I think as long as Queen is still this cheap, I don't see why we wouldn't keep playing him.
And his projection kind of stinks, so I gotta think that keeps his ownership down.
I think RG is a little low on his minutes. Like he's been kind of limited, but the last game really went off. I feel like he's going to come up now in terms of minutes, hopefully off the bench. Maybe he'll even start. The Kevon Looney charade needs to end at some point, I would think. But yeah, I think the Pelicans have really good values with Fears and Jones and Sadiq Bey.
Yep, I mentioned Bey and those guys for sure. I think they're risky. Like there's a low floor there, but I think if you want values that aren't going to be mega chalk, I think they are. Like Bey will be chalky. So if Bey's going to be mega chalk and people are worried about Derek Queen, I think Queen is a really good pivot away from Bey.
Queen's just like a straight up better play. I do like Bey, but I think just Queen is like so easy to get to for no reason. I just want to do that all the time.
Well, if the ownership is 31-7, if it's even remotely close to that, it's such an easy call for me. All right. So I talked about the Clippers already. I think you're in the same boat there. So we can wrap it up with, hold on. Somebody did post a lineup with Bogdanovic. So just in the name of that, what Clippers value do you have interest in, if any?
Really just Collins. I think you can play Dunn or Jones, but pretty low floors. I don't think they have ceilings. I'm not really finding my value with the Clippers today.
That is probably a really good call. All right, there is some value on the other side. Brandon Williams, I am still a fan of him at 5.4K. Not really the best matchup in the world, but he's starting and he's going to get 30 to 35 minutes. I do like that. Is he super owned? Not really. So he's not super chalky. He does project decently. So he looks good. PJ questionable. Anthony Davis, is he officially out?
I saw he's doubtful. I haven't seen he's out.
Okay, so there's going to be usage here. Cooper Flagg, because of that, I think is okay. Like he's exhibited or displayed a bit of a ceiling lately. Like it seems like he's kind of breaking out. 7.5 is a bit rich, so I'm not really wanting to do that. I think PJ would be a better play if he's in, but if he's out, Gafford to 5.1 starts warming up as an interesting value. Derek Lively's back though, so just keep that in mind. But Brandon Williams looks pretty damn good, man.
Yeah, he's still cheap for the role he has starting. Don't mind that at all. I think he's a totally fine play. I think if PJ is out, someone like Najee Marshall becomes a better value. Not that he's like super cheap, but should have a role. He's 5'2", and small forward is helpful. Max Christie, don't really want to do that. Klay Thompson, no thank you. I think it's just kind of Brandon Williams, maybe Najee. I guess if PJ is out, Flagg is a little more viable, but like you said, he's kind of priced up.
I do feel like Najee is an interesting case of we could play him and then just like deal with it. Like if we don't know for sure PJ's out until way later in the night, we could just plan to play Najee. And like if PJ's in, okay, I guess hopefully Najee works out, right? Because he's okay.
Or maybe like if you have $200, just play Collins instead in that spot.
Yeah, and then if we get the news, you could switch to Najee at that point. I like that even better, actually. Good call. Okay, that is going to do it for us for this game-by-game breakdown. Hopefully it helps you out. If it does, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and come join us in Discord. Discord is free. You can share your lineups, ask questions, all that fun stuff. And, of course, if you want core plays to build on, with it, whether it be NBA or NFL and everything else that we cover, it's just $5.99 for the entire month for everything that we do. So definitely consider doing that. Thanks for watching, and good luck.